Hi, everyone. Thank you all for joining our second Your Career Plus webinar. It's a pleasure to have you guys here. I'm so excited for today's discussion. My name is Taylor Khan. I am the marketing manager of the Accounting Plus campaign and the host for Your Career Plus. Your Career Plus is our monthly webinar series where we aim to bridge the gap between education and real world experiences by giving Black and Hispanic students access to accounting professionals who look like them and who have already gone through the journey to provide invaluable guidance that helps students navigate their path towards accounting. We want students to walk away with actionable advice that they can use the Accounting Plus platform to help begin to implement. Joining us today are two superstar accountants, Jonathan Acevedo and Mario Munoz. They're here to talk more about how to make the most out of your college experience and how to set you up for professional success upon graduating. Thank you both for joining us today. I'm so excited to have you. I already know that our students are going to walk away with a plethora of information that they're going to be able to implement in their academic career. Before we dive in, I just want to remind everyone to utilize the chat box to send any questions that you might have for Jonathan or Mario. We're going to leave room towards the end for an interactive Q&A, so please do not be shy. Yeah, thank you guys again for being here. I'll turn it over to you guys to introduce yourselves.
Hi,
Thank you, Taylor.
Go ahead, Mark. Thanks for having me here today, and to everyone joining us. It's good to have you all present. So, kind of to recap here, my name is Mario Munoz, and I am an audit senior at one of the Big Four public accounting firms. And yeah, I'll kick it off to Jonathan to give a little intro. Get back into.
Thank you, Mario. Thank you, Taylor. Good morning and good afternoon, depending on where you're tuning in. I'm thrilled to be here and sharing the insights that I can and help inspire you guys along your journey. So please feel free to drop any and all questions you have in the Q&A, and we'll get to them.
Awesome. So why don't we dive in? Can you each share how you got into accounting? Why don't we start off with Mario?
Great. So just to give everybody here a bit of a background, I graduated high school in 2010. I started my college journey in 2017. So I had a big educational gap in between, right? So I personally decided that it was in my best interest to pursue a community college degree. So I remember when I first enrolled, right, I went in with an intention like, hey, I want to major in math, maybe business. I thought, hey, as a kid, I always enjoyed these topics. Why not pursue it as a career? So after researching the required courses for math, you had your calculus, your trigonometry. I think I wasn't that passionate anymore. So I ended up meeting with my college counselor to discuss just alternative options. And she recommended me to take an intro to accounting course, which does not use a lot of math. I have to emphasize that. After the first course, I enjoyed it and I wanted to learn more. I actually felt something that connected me to accounting. And over time, I just became passionate about the field I was studying, right? So this is when I realized personally that accounting was meant for me, and I decided to just go all in.
That's awesome. And I'm so glad that you highlighted that that accounting courses don't emphasize math entirely. That is a common misconception. That's what calculators are for.
Exactly. I agree on that. Yes.
All right, Jonathan, we'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, thank you. For me, my journey, just give a little background as well. Graduated high school in 2011. And as I was making my decision in what university or college I was going to attend, I had to make a tougher decision as determining if I wanted to continue to play sports. I had played football and basketball throughout my high school career and was hitting that pivot point of, do I want to continue to play or do I just want to go and study and get my education? After thinking it through, I decided to definitely go play college sports. So I played Division III football. And while making that decision, I also wanted to ensure that the major I was going into, accounting, they had a well-built program in that sense as well. Taking it back to the high school a little bit as well, is similar to Mario, I always had love for numbers. I was a math guy, but specifically, I remember to this day, very specifically, my high school teacher senior year, who I took an elective course in accounting. He made it real fun, exciting, easy to connect the dots with. And after that, I said, you know what, this is the major for me, and then decided to decide that or elect to in college. So
Yeah, I love that you mentioned the impact that your teacher had on influencing your career path, because I think that that is true for a lot of students who are unsure of what direction they want to head in, and sometimes it just takes that one professor, that one teacher, that one mentor that kind of opens their eyes and helps bridge the gap between what their talents are and how they can utilize that to a successful career. And I think that that's a great way to introduce our next question. So, choosing the right college can be overwhelming. What criteria do you suggest students consider when selecting a school that aligns with their academic and career goals?
Yeah, so I guess I'll dive in here, Taylor. So I think a couple of the criteria that everyone should consider, right, are who the faculty are at that school and if these people have real world experience outside of academia. You want to be able to consider networking opportunities at that college. You want to be able to look at what types of programs they have at that school and if they align with the major you are pursuing, right? If you're pursuing accounting, make sure they have a degree in that field. But overall, I think it's just going to differ from person to person, that criteria, right? So it's going to be up to you to make that decision. My advice to everybody here present, right, is listen to your instincts and go with that school that's going to resonate with you the most, right? So for instance, when I started my college journey, I chose to start at a community college and then I transferred to a four-year university, right? You fast forward 6 years, now I'm a licensed CPA in California. I work at a large Big Four public organization. Therefore, I think just my takeaway here, right, is whether you choose community college, whether you choose a four-year university, you can find a path to success, right? Do not hesitate to consider community college if it makes sense for you.
Yes, absolutely. It definitely deciding what college is best for you, whatever path is right for you, it's so personal, it's so subjective, and it does not have to be a rushed process. And sometimes I think, and I'm speaking from experience, when I was in high school and I was trying to figure out what college I was going to go to, you feel the pressure almost from your peers that seem that they already know what direction they're heading in. You have your guidance counselors telling you one thing, your teachers telling you one thing, your parents telling you one thing, and it's kind of hard to figure out who you are in all of that noise. And so I think that that's really, really great advice, Mario, to really understand that it's a personal journey. Whatever that's going to look like is going to look like that for you, and you just have to trust yourself. So, Jonathan, what do you think?
yeah, I couldn't agree more. It is definitely a personal preference. You need to know who you are as a person and what works best for you. Like I mentioned earlier, I chose the route to go to a D3 school, not only for athletics, but I also wanted to have a more connection with my professors. I wanted to be able to just pop in one-on-one and ask those questions that didn't make sense in class. And going to a bigger university, you're just a number in a larger school. Not to throw shade on it, like that works for people too. Just for me, that wasn't my preference. So I knew what I liked and I honed in on that. And then another thing that I would mention to consider as well is what when you're making a decision for your major as to what the job placement is upon graduation. You want to be able to set yourself up for success post graduation to be able to enter the workforce and hit the ground running. Last thing you want to do is graduate and then have to now focus on employment and things like that. So those are just a couple of things that I would add to consider when you're making that decision.
Awesome. Yeah, those answers are really helpful. What advice would you give to incoming freshmen looking to study accounting?
Yeah, I'll take that lead on that one, Mario. Couple bits of advice that I would say would be depending on your university. I was more fortunate at a D3 to take those 101 courses early on to see if accounting was really my fit. I know some at the bigger universities you're not allowed to, so definitely try to get your feet wet with some of the basic coursework of it to understand, all right, is this for me? And then another piece of advice that I would say is look to get involved on campus. Accounting clubs, business clubs, those those clubs are on campus to help support you and answer your question and be a guiding light. And it also you can start to build your network in a raw form without you really realizing it. So those are just a couple of things that I would say that come to mind.
Yeah, networking is definitely one of those things that I don't think people realize or kids realize starts before you even enter college. And it happens very naturally and organically when you're attending college fairs, attending career fairs, visiting your colleges for the first time. Those are all networking opportunities. And that only helps you transition into picking the right classes for you, what clubs are going to be best for you. And it also helps you have a more enjoyable college experience. So that's really great advice, Jonathan. Do you have anything else you'd like to add, Mario?
Yeah, so a couple of other things here, right, is consider going to office hours, right? Set up study groups with your peers. A lot of other people are going through the same situation as you, right? So getting those groups together will definitely get you a little bit farther, whether you're like struggling on a certain topic or whatnot. But I think that's something you can consider. I would also consider you guys to research and talk with experienced professionals, right, about the various career paths that you can specialize in within the accounting field. For example, do you want to become a tax accountant? Do you want to become an auditor, a forensic accountant, consultant? There's just so many career paths available to you. So make sure you just research that. A couple other things here that I could recommend for you guys is to schedule time with your college faculty and counselors, right? These people have real world experiences, so utilize them as a resource, right? They are there to help you stay on track so that you meet those accounting requirements. And then I think one of the last things I would point out here is if you're interested in becoming a CPA, which is just one of many paths, right, available to accountants, start looking into those requirements for the license, right? There are state specific and at times can be complex, but it's never too early for you guys to educate yourself and creating that plan to, prepare yourself and pass those exams.
I love that. That's great advice. And you guys have both put an emphasis on the importance of networking and have been big advocates for that. So can you share how students can build strong networks and connections during their college years to enhance their professional opportunities? Maybe give examples on how you both were able to do that.
Yeah, so I'll dive in here. So first of all, I think it's critical to know like networking, right? What is networking to everybody here, right? So networking is where it's a concept, right, of meeting new people, you make new connections, you leverage those connections as needed, right? So in any profession, personal network is very powerful, right? And it's critical. At times, this value of one's network can come from our own connections, but it can also come from connections from other people, information, opportunities. So many of you guys are unaware, some of you guys are aware, but there's many professional organizations out there that can help you build that strong network, right? They provide leadership, development opportunities, such as you have your accounting society, you have your Beta Alpha Psi, you have your NABA, you have your Alpha, right? So a great way for you to find out which organizations have that on-campus presence, you can either go to your school website, you can talk to other students, you can talk to your counselor, faculty. There's a ton of ways for you to figure out which organizations are present at that school that you're interested, right? So for example, for me, one organization that really impacted me was Alpha. So that's the Association of Latino Professionals for America. For me as a member of that organization, since my junior year in college, they facilitated so many networking opportunities, and that allowed me to like develop relationship with mentors. I was able to refine my soft skills. It presented me with numerous interview opportunities. And yeah, I say it again, networking is very, very critical, right? You want to get involved. You want to find an organization that you can connect with. And regardless of what school you are at, right, there's going to be numerous options available to you. So use those options.
Awesome. And Jonathan, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, absolutely. And two things I would like to speak to first. Networking has such a negative connotation with it. It really isn't as bad as it seems. I like to look at networking as more like relationship building. Meeting an individual and having a conversation. Like Taylor said earlier, you predate all this back to your high school days and even before then of just getting to know somebody. That in its rawest form is networking. You're just getting to know them on a personal level, trying to find what common ground you have to then further build a relationship and see where they go. And then kind of taking that to the college setting in your classrooms when you're assigned classroom projects or projects with other individuals. You're having to network and meet other people in the classroom that you want to do the work with and whatnot. So you're working on that skill at a very early age. And then by the time you do into the profession, it's hopefully more refined. So then when you do go out, it's not a big daunting task. You're able to go out and enjoy yourself. You're not nervous or having the sweats. It's just something that comes more natural. And then another thing that I would say with networking is just be yourself, be authentic and genuine. I don't know how many times I've gone to events and being myself of curious and asking a question and just to see how people are doing, how that comes off, and it's way more receptive and people are willing to have a conversation with you and whatnot. So definitely look for that common ground to build upon and start working on just having a conversation with someone, even if it's in your Starbucks line, talking to the person in front of you while you're waiting. That's networking in its rawest form.
Yeah, I love that you are highlighting how effortless networking actually is, and it's true that the concept has gotten tied to a lot of stress because there's been so much emphasis on the importance of it, and so it almost makes the process of networking seem a lot more unnatural than it actually is. It really is a thoughtless process because it happens incredibly organically, um, and I think that this advice is especially helpful for students who are first generation college students. And so, how do you think being a first gen college student had an impact on your experiences?
Yeah, let's start us off with that one, Taylor. I would say being a first generation graduate had let's take a step back. Just being very adverse, right? There's a lot of adversity you have to face, and knowing that you don't have the resources to fall back on and ask those questions too. So you almost have to be outspoken. You have to get out of your comfort zone a little bit and ask those questions. So be it your advisor, like Mario said earlier, or classmates and things like that, because you need to leverage your network, as we're just talking about, and able to propel yourself. We're all doing this together for the first time, not knowing how to navigate these waters, and there's more people out there in that boat with you that you don't know about. So talking about it and being outspoken and then taking advantage of some campus resources really helps set yourself up for success to succeed down the road. So be it in the immediate term right then and there or a couple years later. I know my university had a resume workshop at our in our one of our buildings, so I would attend that. I would get work on my resume, even though I didn't have a job lined up. I was taking advantage of those resources that were available because once I left, I wasn't going to have that resource available at me anymore. So just a couple of things that come to mind when you ask that question.
Yeah, and this almost goes back to a point that that was made earlier, that when you're entering college, almost everyone is in the same boat as you, and meaning like nobody really knows what they're doing. And they're all like genuinely just trying to figure it out. And so I think that if students walk into their freshman year understanding that, it almost helps humanize and soften the process a little bit more because you don't feel like a sore thumb. Like you're the only person that doesn't know what's going on. Nobody knows what's going on. So Mario, is there anything else you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, so I just touched a little bit on this. So me personally, right, growing up, I was always taught by my parents, right, you always work hard, you stay committed, and nothing's going to be able to stop you, right, from achieving those goals. So as I navigated my college years as a first generation college student, for me, these were the guiding principles that set me up for success, right? So many of these experiences, they took me out of that comfort zone, but they challenged me, right? And they challenged me and they just reminded me like, hey, where would I be now if I didn't challenge myself and I didn't try these new things, right? So being able to get out of my bubble and get out of that comfort zone, it allowed me to get the most out of my college experience. And therefore, like if I give people here, the students here, any advice, right? it's going to be leverage your resources, right? Get out of that bubble, get out of your comfort zone. That's really going to allow you to grow, both as a person, both as a student, professionally, you name it. It's going to help you to grow. So listen to that constructive feedback, challenge yourself, and you'll be able to achieve a lot of great things from that.
And something I want to add before you go on, Taylor, is just a quote
Sure.
that resonates with me deeply is get comfortable with the uncomfortable. That is something that I was told early on in my career, and it couldn't be more true because it's short-lived. It's uncomfortable for that 5-10 minutes, an hour, however long it lasts, and after that, it's done. Then you have a little more experience, you feel a little better next time going into it, and it won't be as uncomfortable next time going forward. So something to add.
Absolutely. That's a great addition. And college is the time to explore. It's the time to figure out what you like, what you don't like, and really make a decision on who you want to be. And college is the great platform for that because you have endless amounts of resources in order to support your journey. So now we're going to transition over to the Q&A segment. We have some questions rolling in. So the first one is, what advice do you have for a junior that has taken assessments that points to an accounting career, but is still unsure if that should be their path? And either one of you can take this, both of you can take this, whoever feels most comfortable.
Yeah, so I can give a little bit. So I think for you, like kind of what I said in the beginning, right? So it's gonna be what you want. You really have to put that thought into it. Sit down, get in your mind, think about like, hey, is this really something that I'm passionate about? Because you want to find that career that you're gonna enjoy doing, right? You're gonna enjoy it, you're passionate about. You don't want to have to go to a job and get that career where like, hey, I don't like what I'm doing. I majored in English and I don't like what I'm doing. No, you want to find something that you're very passionate about. So my advice to you is sit down and really think about that, right? Are you passionate about accounting? Do you enjoy it? A lot of times accounting comes naturally to people. So consider things like that, right?
Yeah,
And
definitely. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, and so just to add on that, as well as like Mario alluded to earlier, the accounting profession is so vast. So if all assessments are pointing in that direction, take a seat and really look, all right, in accounting, what do I want to do? Is it audit? Is it tax? Outsourced accounting is an up and coming trend in the profession. There's consulting, there's a variety of services and whatnot that you can go down in terms of a career path. So really just sit down and focus and think through what your goal is. And if that goal doesn't align with your major, it's okay to adjust. That's the time to.
Yeah, and I also think for me personally, what helped me navigate where I wanted to end up was just taking classes, like, and I have the opportunity to do that because worst case scenario, those classes become a minor and it's not for nothing. There's still a ton of added knowledge and added value that I'm gaining. So that would also be my advice is don't shy away from exploring, like take that opportunity to really hone in on, like Mario and Jonathan are saying, hone in on what direction you want to go into. You have the time, there's no clock that's running out. Like you really do have the time. All righty, we have another one. So this person says, I have a degree in finance. How do I know if accounting is for me?
Okay, so take it, Mario.
I can dive in a little bit here. No, you're good. So I mean, I would recommend for you to try out an introductory course, right? If you haven't taken that introductory to accounting course, maybe start off there. For me personally, that is what really like sparked my curiosity as like, oh, I want to learn more about accounting, right? So a lot of people might like finance and accounting kind of like juggle the words together. It's completely different, right? But yeah, that's my personal recommendation to you is to just try accounting, give that introductory accounting course a try. And if you are still curious as to like, hey, should I continue this path or not? Maybe try another accounting course, right? There's just a ton of accounting courses out there. So I think that'll be my best advice to you on that topic.
Yeah, I would. Do you have anything else to add, Jonathan?
The one thing I would add is definitely reach out to an advisor or someone within the accounting business of the school itself, because they will be able to give you a in-depth insight. Like Mario said, everyone thinks of finance and accounting majors as synonymous terms, and I learned that very quickly when I went to my college advisor, that that is not the case, and that you want to do accounting, and if you want to double major, you know, go the business analytics route. Or they really, I would say my advisor really was involved in wanting me to develop. So they gave me the best advice that they could give at the time, and not really wanting to just say, hey, what do you want to do? All right, yep, sounds good. Check, check. Move on to the next student advising meeting. So lean on those resources that are on campus and pick their brain. They're there for it.
Definitely. I also think internships too are a great way to test the waters to see if what you're majoring in is actually something that you'd want to continue doing post-graduation. And so if you're majoring in finance, but you're interested in accounting, why don't you shoot your shot for an internship in accounting? And just a little subtle plug, Accounting Plus, we have our internship hub. So if you need a place to start and you don't know where to look for an internship, just visit our website. We have an entire hub that will help guide you to the internship that's best for you. And so we have our last question coming in. As a first generation student currently in college, what advice do you have for someone who is struggling with fear and worry about the future? Have you ever felt like there was extreme external and internal pressure to succeed or be exceptional? How do you combat that? That is a big question, and I think
that's very big.
Yeah. So why don't you guys dive in? Go for it.
You want to start, John, or you want me to go here?
Sure, you've been leading us the whole way here, so I can take us home. Let's see, where do I start? That's a good question, great question. And that pressure that you feel, believe it or not, sometimes both self-inflicted, but also being a first generation, right? You want to succeed. You're here, you're going to college the first time, and you want to make your parents proud. And so, yeah, I understand the pressure, both coming downwards and upwards internally, of how that is to feel with. And to deal with it, I would say really just find an outlet, in a sense of, during those stressful times, what gives you peace. You need to be able to find an outlet, because college is stressful. There's times where you're going to be really down on yourself, and you need to be able to mentally and physically be healthy, right? Like, you got to take care of yourself in both aspects. If you're not mentally healthy, your schoolwork's going to take a toll. And then that pressure that you're putting on yourself is just going to weigh more and more. And you're not going to be exceptional like you want to be. And it's okay to fail here and there. That's life. We fail sometimes. But how resilient are you to get back up and keep trying? A little quick story I want to add is my CPA exam. CPA success was a 7-year journey. It wasn't a year, 18 months like some of my colleagues were completing it, and even in university, they were getting it done immediately. And I didn't want to compare myself to other people. Like Taylor said, it's your own race. You go at your own speed, and definitely just take your time, and then also talk to people about it, right? If you're feeling pressure coming down from your parents or anything like that, let them know that, hey, I'm working through this. I need your support. Sometimes they don't know what they don't know, and they don't know they're putting this pressure on you. So just having effective communication in your personal life and then in your professional life too, being able to effectively communicate goes a long way. Mario, anything you want to add?
Yeah, so that was all that's great what Jonathan said. I agree with everything he said here. I think also just kind of what he said, right? Finding that outlet, right? So everybody has that thing that works for them. You have to be able to find that, right? For me, I really challenged myself. I was like, I need to finish college in 4 years. That was stressful enough as it was. So what would I do? I would like, hey, I love the gym. Let me go to the gym. And that was my sense of clarity that helped me get back to focus on like, hey, like, okay, time to grind. It's time to, open those books and get through it, right? So just find that outlet for you, kind of like reiterating what Jonathan said, right? And again, we all go through that. I went through it. I'm pretty sure Jonathan went through it. We all go through it. So you're not alone in this, right? If you need to talk to other people, if you need to talk to maybe a counselor, somebody that you have close by, a sister, a friend, anybody, right? Just so that you're able to express yourself. Don't stress too much about it. It's normal. It's a normal feeling, but hey, you're going to get through it. Like, if I could just like, man, if I've been through it, you could do it. You could do anything you set your mind to. Being out of college for 7 years and like from high school to college, I thought I was gonna be just like the worst person ever, just having that gap in my education. So you can do it. Believe in yourself. I believe in you. You can do it.
And pressure makes diamonds, baby. So we got this. Well, we are at time. This has been so much fun. You guys are absolutely incredible. It's been a pleasure talking with you guys here today, meeting you guys, adding you both to my network. Um, Thank you to our audience for attending. I want to just remind everyone that this is an ongoing monthly series, so sign up to stay informed about upcoming live events. You guys can connect with Jonathan and Mario on LinkedIn. We will see you here next month where we are going to be sitting down with Justin Larry, who is an accountant, and he's going to be diving into the future of accounting, especially with talks of AI. So very exciting stuff. Thank you guys.